Hello, people. Welcome back to this channel. And on this episode, we want to talk about the difference between small cities and large cities in Germany. So, if you're planning to move into Germany or you're already living in Germany, but you're planning to relocate within the country, this video we're going to be exploring some of the differences between the cities, from cost of living to lifestyle to also job opportunities. And so, if you're a single person or you're a married person with family, or even a student, or you're planning to build a family, please stick around on this video because we're going to be exploring some of the differences and how it might actually affect you as a person. If you're a new person to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share with your friends, and keep watching. Starting with cost of living. The cost of living is usually higher in big cities. So take Berlin for example. In order to get a one-bedroom apartment, you probably need to spend up to 1,200 euros. Whereas in smaller cities or neighboring cities close to Berlin, you might get that same one-bedroom apartment for about 900 or even 850 euros, right? So that way you would be able to spend even less during the month. Also, groceries prices are usually higher in big cities compared to small cities. So if I was a student, or if you're a student, or maybe entry level in a salary person, it makes sense to live in small cities as opposed to big cities. So that way you can actually save more and also just avoid the whole temptation with big city that comes with big cities and spending more during the month. The next on my list is actually lifestyle and entertainment. So usually with big cities comes with concerts, events, restaurants, and the likes, right? And nightlife. So with big cities, there's much more to do during the day and even at night. So it usually do come with a higher cost, because actually when you live in such cities, you end up going out a lot, eating out a lot, and all those stuffs, and you end up spending more, as opposed to small cities whereby it's usually peaceful, calm, and not so much going on. Of course, you're going to also trade that with the whole community vibes, because in big cities you have more of international community, right? So in small cities you wouldn't get that feeling, right? So for me personally, I prefer small cities. I prefer to actually live in cities that are really calm and peaceful. I think, as a matter of fact, when I was doing my master's degree, I was living in a small city, and that way, I just like it that way. I don't know. And I also feel like if you're someone who's trying to build a family or raise kids, it makes sense to actually do that in a small city that is peaceful, especially if you're someone who's high on morality and things like that, because big cities comes with a lot of things that you probably wouldn't want your kids to be exposed to, and it just makes sense to do that in a small city. So that being said, moving on to the third on my list, which is career and job opportunities. So usually in big cities you tend to have more opportunities as opposed to small cities. So opportunities coming from huge tech companies which are highly situated in big cities, to startups, and also having multinational companies situated there, right? But on the other hand, on small cities, it is usually not the case to have like so much job opportunities. You have much more opportunities to network in bigger cities as opposed to smaller cities. For in this situation, when it comes to career and opportunities, I think it only makes sense to live in small cities when you have a remote job that allows you to do that. Otherwise, if you're someone that is looking to actually, grow your career or create more network and opportunities for yourself, then it makes sense to live in bigger cities, because this will actually bring you much more opportunity as opposed to smaller cities. Accessibility and transportation. This is actually a big factor when you want to determine where to live in Germany, because if you're the type that travels a lot, or you like to go places, then it makes sense to live in bigger cities compared to small cities. So the reason is because most of the airports, most of the main train stations would be usually found in big cities compared to small cities. So if you're the type that likes to travel a lot by plane or whatever, so it makes sense to live in big cities compared to smaller cities. So take note for this part. Otherwise, stay in small city, and once in a while when you want to travel, you can actually just easily commute to those bigger cities and take the main train or even the flight or whatever it may be in this case. Just to wrap up everything, as you've seen from this video, there are pros and there are also cons to living in big cities and small cities. Different people like different options. For me personally, I like to have a feel or a touch of both. So live in a city where it's not too big and not too small, and sometimes when I want to have the big city feeling, I just easily get in there, and vice versa, right? So if you're the type that is looking to move or relocate within even Germany, please, I would really recommend you look at the pros and the cons to make your decision and see what works best for you. Also, I'm really curious to know which city you would like to live in. So if you're watching this video, please put in the comment section to let me know what kind of city you would actually love to live in, big city or small city. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on the notification button for more videos. Till then, see you. Ciao.